officially started. Minimize that. Make sure everybody's seeing it. Stream look good? Do you see it? Yes, sir. All right. Justin, as always, we'll start out on camera 4, then I'll go to camera 2, and we're off and running. Oh, and remember, you're not going to see your properties today, so when you're describing them, note you won't see them on the monitors, okay?
Actually, really quickly, I have 664 West Palm. Is that
Yes.
right? 3709 Virginia.
Yes.
And what do you have?
I've got, let's just say, 12700 South Military, and then that's the Walmart.
Okay.
And JJ, your photos will be edited in.
Okay.
Of course.
Yep.
And then the other one, actually, hey Dallas, do you have the address for that one in Longwood on hand?
Let me check.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Oh, that's
I
the
don't have my
Vivian
phone
one?
on me. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
I can call it Longwood Medical Office.
that's perfect.
Okay.
Because in the flyer stuff, it has
Okay.
all the stuff.
All right, let's, let me know when you guys are ready.
All right, I'm good.
Sounds good. 2515. Here we go, everybody. Stand by. 3, 2. Justin, whenever you're ready.
And welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, or even looking to sell your house, this next 30 minutes is designed just for you. Think of it like hitting multiple open houses, all from your living room, but with my attorney advice throughout the way. If you have any questions during the show, I have people
Stop,
standing by.
Pause. That's my fault, guys. Here we go. We're going to start again. This rarely happens. Stand by. Stream is still going. I apologize, everybody watching on the stream. Here we come. 3, 2, and whenever you're ready.
Welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, or even looking to sell your home, this next 30 minutes is designed just for you. Think of it like hitting multiple open houses, all from your living room, but with my attorney advice throughout the way. If you have any questions during the program, I have people standing by to answer them right now. 407-205-0400. If you want to start your house hunt this weekend, you'll need to get a pre-approval letter. I have Dallas Lehman with You Have Mortgage standing by as well at that very same phone number, 407-205-0400. Now, I know the question is, do I even want to look at buying a house right now? We're going to answer that question over the next 30 minutes. So yes, you should get that pre-approval letter. Call Dallas Lehman. He is standing by right now. Excellent show for you today. But first, it's a message from my good friend Stephen Bader, the COO of IQ Power Solar. See, I'm not worried about the expenses right now for my electricity bill because I went solar with IQ Power Solar. My electric bill, $40 a month. It was $500. And now we're going into the season where it's getting warmer and warmer. Our electric bills are increasing. Not mine. Stephen Bader, tell us how.
3, 2.
And now it's time for my opening statement. I have long predicted a recession arriving, and we long predicted a recession arriving this year. But we also told you there's not going to be a real estate collapse during this recession like there was in 2008, 9, 10, 11. Now, when I predicted the recession, I certainly wasn't thinking that some virus was going to come overtake the globe and force us into this, whatever you want to call it, a terrible recession, so to speak. So the question I think that you have is, how is this recession created by this global pandemic going to affect your real estate right here in Central Florida? We're going to answer that question today. Now, clearly, I think there's going to be a small uptick in foreclosures. It's going to be nothing like, in my opinion, what happened in 2008. And let me tell you why. The prices right now in 2020, as we sit here today, are basically 2006 prices. The prices in 2006 were incredibly inflated. I think we all even knew it then that the prices were inflated. But now we sit here some 14 years later, prices virtually the same as they were in 2006. I think the prices now are right. I don't think the prices now are inflated. That's why I know there's a recession coming. I know that we're in the middle of the weirdest thing we've ever seen in our lifetimes. I do not believe that this pandemic is going to create a real estate collapse in our community. I don't. Mark my words. But you don't always just trust me. I understand that. We have to bring the experts here on this show to really answer the questions that we have about the real estate market here. And without further ado, it's time for Real Questions. Each week here on You Have Real Estate, I ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. Today on the show, from the residential side, it's JJ Mackel. And then from the commercial side as well, it's Saxon Evans. Because look, we need to figure out what's going on, not just for business owners, but also for those of us looking to buy or sell a residential home. We'll start with you, JJ. First of all, welcome back to the show. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for getting me out.
Yeah. Now, you are welcome to disagree with me on what I said in the opening statement, that we're not going back to 2008. We're not going to have an epic real estate collapse, but I want to hear from you. From the residential side, what do you see happening?
Well, I think we're still seeing a lot of activity during this pandemic. So that shows us exactly what's happening. I'm still seeing closings and pendings, and realtors are working together to show properties in the correct way with CDC guidelines, and we're still getting tons of showing requests.
How are we handling the social distancing and real estate and looking at real estate?
Well, we're being creative. The best innovation happens during these times. We do have our virtual tours, and buyer's agents and listing agents both are previewing properties. Like for all of my listings, we'll have virtual tours, but I also am going in and just doing a virtual showing myself and texting it to realtors or people who are interested, and showing them the street, just to basically, weed out people that might not be interested, or if they would like to see it some more. And we're doing virtual open houses. And this show would be another way.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are finding out that with the use of the internet, we can do quite a bit.
And I know you don't have a crystal ball, but let's say I'm sitting here right now today. My house is worth $300,000. It's going to take a little while to get back to some normalcy. 6 months from now, a year from now, what do you think my house that's worth $300,000 now will be worth 6 months and a year from now?
I think it'll stay the same, and it could go up depending on what you do to the property. I mean, the properties that are turnkey ready and are priced within the comps, which I agree with you that prices are correct, are going pending. The properties, jumbo loans, the buyers are wanting it to be a little bit more turnkey ready. So we're seeing those go pending. But the ones that, have a few issues, buyers are having questions. And I think after the pandemic, we'll see those prices stay about the same. I mean, it's still a seller's market.
Mm-hmm.
We're not seeing where buyers can make, absolutely crazy offers and then get it.
Saxon Evans,
Yes,
commercial
sir.
side of things. I think a lot of people think real estate is real estate. Any of us that work in real estate know that there's a big difference in commercial and residential. They're two separate babies altogether. How do you see the commercial market now affected by this? Because let's be honest, this pandemic is crushing a lot of businesses. So therefore, I think it has a big effect on the commercial side of things. How do you see this pandemic affecting commercial real estate?
Well, about a month and a half ago, you guys had me on the show, and I'd mentioned that I thought that there was going to be a recession as well. You and I agreed on that point. And I think it was going to be caused not by a pandemic, but rather interest rates eventually coming up or funding getting harder to get, which would make the cost of capital more expensive. And whenever that happens, regardless if you're selling horses or houses or Walmarts, it doesn't matter. If it costs more money to get a loan, at the end of the day, the price is going to come down.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I don't think that our situation has changed much. If anything, with all the stimulus funding, what we've done is increase the debt load on the system, which means it's probably going to impact it even more down the line. Short term, people need places to live, but cash flows across the board, from rental properties to you name it, commercial properties are getting hit, and they're getting hit hard.
So JJ says it's still a seller's market on the residential side. Commercial side, buyer's market. What do you think?
I'd have to say, if you're looking with Class A tenants, it's still a seller's market. And I say that partly because I'm selling a Walmart, but because those people are going to be paying their bills at the end of the month.
So a lot of commercial tenants right now probably are struggling to pay at least this month, maybe a couple months worth of rent payments. Some of you
4 months rent abatements is pretty typical right now.
Is that right?
And that's what they're asking for already before they're getting these stimulus checks. So
how are you finding your commercial clients who own buildings responding to these, hey, I need 2, 3, 4 months off?
well, they're not happy because they're not getting abatements from their mortgages. So unless something like that happens, which Canada is starting to do something similar, I just don't see the tenants getting that much off, which I feel bad for a lot of them because it's tough.
I mean, are you seeing landlords already foreclosing, or do you find that most of them are going to say at least take a month off? I don't know.
I do see that they are taking some time off.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen, pay half now and then we'll just tack it on to the end of your lease. But as far as foreclosures, I work for a receivership company.
Yeah.
Specifically, I moved there 2 years ago to prep for this. And we are seeing a lot of foreclosures starting to come down the pipe
Really?
6 months from now because it takes some time to not be able to pay and for them to take you to court. So.
And we all lived through the 2008 foreclosure crisis. I handled maybe 15,000 residential foreclosure cases defending individuals. And one of the problems is, and you always see an uptick after a hurricane because the lenders will start calling people kind of randomly and say, hey, we know you're in a disaster area. What can we do to help? Mm-hmm. Okay, take 3 months off. Fine. But then they'll call them 3 months later and say, oh, you owe the entire 3 months at once. And that really creates an uptick in foreclosures because people, they didn't save the money. They got the tires or they did whatever they have to do. I think you need to be very careful if you're getting this 3 month reprieve from your residential mortgage. You need to make very crystal clear with them, okay, do I pay all 3 months at once after this 90 days? Or are you giving me a true forbearance where I can just start paying again after 90 days, JJ?
I'm seeing lenders that I speak with get creative, and they're talking with all of their clients right now and realtors and this show, and I think people are starting to prepare for that. And they're also cutting cost right now. This is not the time, to be spending, so they can save for that mortgage. I'm seeing the scary thing is in our tourism industry, people that have lost jobs with Disney, but I do think it'll bounce back. But in our industry, I think that we will see some residual effects with certain clients later on, but I think it'll bounce back real quickly. But most mortgage brokers are talking about creative solutions. But yeah, you'll see some people impacted for sure.
I have my house listed for sale right now. What should I do?
You should keep it on the market. I think it's a pandemic. Numbers, days on market, really, I don't think are most people understand. You are also wanting to expose it right now because a lot of people are looking online and they're planning to go out at a certain time later. Some people are actually showing up in person, and what realtors are doing, they're making sure it's disinfected. They turn all the lights on, and they're asking people not to touch anything. And making it as easy as possible following CDC guidelines. And virtual tours are great, but people still want property. I mean, one of the ones I'm featuring today, as we know, inventory is low.
Yeah.
So that's really helping real estate function right now for sellers.
Let's say I am a seller. I'm under contract right now, and the buyer is asking for more time, an extension. Typically 30 days or so is about normal from contract to closing, I would say. But the buyer's saying they're having issues on the mortgage side, whatever, because they lost a job. They're asking for an extension. What should I do?
I think it's a case by case. We actually had a scenario with that for one of our listings, and we're just going to go ahead and put it on the market. And if they want to come back, they can. They did lose their job. We do think they'll be rehired very quickly in their industry. Just because they won't have to follow social distancing guidelines when the market does come back. Yeah. But I think it's a case-by-case situation. You are still seeing closings. I look on the market and I see closings and I see more. I think people have to be patient. It's taking a little bit longer. They do have an addendum for this pandemic, but I've just been keeping it clean, extending inspection time periods, and maybe even a loan period.
A lot of times when I have someone on the show, I look at the real tour. I don't really pay attention much to the business after. I'd say you're a little bit different. With Regal Christie's International, what a great group with Chris and Farrah and Sherry. You have such a great group over there. I always love working with you guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. And speaking of that, you have two excellent listings to show me today. Phil Deems, by the way, thanks for being here, buddy. I know that these are weird times, and the show must go on. And Phil, thank you, brother, for being here in Dallas as well. I really appreciate you guys. So without further ado, let's look at West Palm, 664 West Palm. Tell me about this one, JJ.
Well, first, it's awesome to be part of Regal Real Estate Professionals because we are affiliated with Christie's International Real Estate. And so I get to look at it from an international perspective. Christie's is doing lots of training still, and then also from a local perspective. So that has helped us out with real estate. 664 West Palm is in Oviedo. It's priced at $1,150,000. It has 5 bedrooms, 6.5 baths. It's 5,340 square feet. This is a riverfront French estate. You will feel like you're in Europe. I feel like this could be used for, by the way, in commercial real estate or on a set. You know, you could rent it out.
Maybe we could do the show from there. Phil, are you
they
listening?
would, they would let you do it. They are fabulous. And
Phil's mad at me now. He's like, I don't want to move the cameras.
Well, it's on the river, and you can every morning look at otters and other wildlife. It has the master is upstairs as well as with all the other bedrooms, but downstairs there are 2 areas that you could use for bedrooms. But it has an office. It has a separate 24 by 28 in-law suite over the oversized 2-car garage, so you can put all your toys in there.
Or in-laws.
Yeah. Yep. Your in-laws are your outlaws, and then and friends that will not leave. The other thing that impressed me with this is the building materials. Solid oak staircase, porcelain, herringbone, and tile flooring. Has 2 gas fireplaces. It's all designer, inside and out. And that reminds me of the building materials of Europe. Just because you go there and these homes are century-old homes. The main level of the home features the kitchen, the formal dining room. It has a conservatory with views of the grounds. It has a heated pool and spa. It's absolutely beautiful. It's near UCF, Trinity Prep, and it's zoned for very good schools. So you sort of get everything all in one. It also has a 50-year architectural shingle roof. So we're set for the hurricane season that's coming up.
And Oviedo's a great place, especially to raise a family. And when I used to do the foreclosure work back, like I was telling you, in 2008, even if people were losing their home in Oviedo, they were desperate to stay in Oviedo. People who live in Oviedo don't leave Oviedo.
They don't, and you can get anywhere from Oviedo. They have wonderful traffic access points. Obviously, you're near UCF and the new hotel that's coming up at UCF. You're near a lot of activities and the school system, and the people love it there. A lot of variety in Oviedo.
Another awesome property. And by the way, if you have any questions or you would like to go see this property today, 407-205-0400. Another property for JJ here, 3709 Virginia. Tell me about this one.
This is the cutest property ever. It's a mid-century. It's an Audubon Park neighborhood, which is zoned for the Audubon K-8, which everyone raves about that school. It's also walkable. It's near Lou Gardens, which, by the way, is open right now.
Oh, really?
If you want to get away from the pandemic and sort of walk through and look at the gardens, socially distanced, of course. Corinne Drive, where all the shops are, East End Market, Baldwin Park. You're also 10 minutes from downtown Orlando. This area is hot. And they're also redoing Corinne Drive, as all of the other areas of Orlando are doing, to sort of have a, shopping area that's a little safe for walking. This one is a 4-bedroom, which is different for a home of 1954. It's been renovated. The owners renovated the kitchen, the master, the bathrooms. It offers basically ease of lifestyle. It has a huge backyard. It's fenced in. It has the kitchen has all new appliances, so it's turnkey ready. And we've had a lot of interest in this property.
Yeah.
I think if we didn't have the pandemic going on, it would already be sold. But people are definitely still looking at it. We had 3 showings yesterday with realtors who were previewing it.
Awesome. Any questions about this property, call us right now, 407-205-0400. And what a great time for me to also remind you, if you're home right now and you're noticing issues with your house, especially with your roof, and you just need a new roof, but you don't want to spend the $20,000 that it costs to put on a new roof, a reminder to call my friend Ali Asmar with Mecca Builders, or go to meccabuilders.com. They have a program where you can get your roof replaced right now for $0 out of pocket whatsoever, or you can call me directly, 407-205-0400. Now to the commercial side. Saxon Evans, you have 2 properties to show us here. Now, this is a big one. South Military.
Yes, sir.
This is a moneymaker right here. Tell me about this one.
So this is 8.5 acres right on a hard signalized corner in Boynton Beach, South Florida, on South Military, which is one of the main thoroughfares there. We have a Walmart that has the equivalent of about a 90-year lease on it. These guys are paying a ton of rent. And these are the
bet.
type of tenants that, since they got in there and they built the building themselves, Walmart built it, they spent millions, that they're not going to leave
Yeah.
long term. And then we've got an out parcel with a Dunkin' Donuts, a dentist, a nail salon, and then an additional full acre on the corner that you can build, pretty much anything you want.
Is that right?
Zoning guidelines. So we're asking a tad over $10 million for this one, $10,166,000, and cash flow's there, and it's triple net turnkey. You just walk away and collect your checks.
I mean, how important is that anchor tenant? If you're buying something as an investment, a shopping center like this, how important is that anchor? I always hear the word anchor tenant.
Sure.
What does that mean, and how important is it?
Sure, that's the tenant you use to advertise if one of your out parcels, one of the smaller buildings, needs a new tenant. So you say, the nail salon leaves, you say, hey, does anyone want the traffic overflow from Walmart? Well, a lot of people would line up for that. So it's pretty good. And you want a tenant right now a little farther away from the mom and pops, just because mom and pops have about 1 to 2 months of operating savings.
Right.
And Walmart has probably 100 years. So.
Yeah, I'd say so. They could pay the whole 90 years off right now if they needed
if they
to.
really wanted to.
Unbelievable. If you have any questions for Saxon, same phone number, 407-205-0400. Now, maybe this is a good time, once you get that PPP money in, if you're a business owner, stop being a renter. Maybe it's time to go buy your own place. We always think about buying our own house. Oh, I don't want to rent. I don't want to rent an apartment. But when it comes to our business, we seem to think renting is okay, but it can also be a great investment for you to buy the location where your business operates from. Owner-operated real estate and commercial real estate is a fantastic idea. And speaking of that, this next property, this Longwood Medical Office, would be great for owner-operator.
Absolutely. That site's right on one of the main thoroughfares up in Longwood as well, right next to the hospital, actually. And the good thing is right now with the stimulus plans that Trump is pushing out, a lot of small business loans are getting fast-tracked when it comes to the mortgage guys. So you could go in there and get a pretty low down payment, some low rates right now, historically low rates, if you're going to operate as a doctor or some sort of medical clinic, and it's built out for one. So it's a beautiful site.
In residential real estate, we always think of a down payment of 5%, even 3.5%, maybe 10%. What about in commercial? What's sort of average? I'm not holding you to
Sure.
this. I'm just trying to get an idea.
It's really tough. So mom and pops, you could be looking at 50%, 60%, because people know that they're going to walk away from a rented building before they walk away from their house. So in residential, you're looking at 90 to 95. A really top quality tenant, for instance, a Walmart, you're probably looking at 75%, and that's it. The banks aren't willing to take that extra risk because they know it's easier to close a business than it is to close down your lifestyle.
Excellent job, Saxon. You're going to stick around for the Real Estate Roundtable, I
Absolutely.
hope. Awesome. And if you have any questions about anything we've discussed, or you want to start that house hunt, because look, we believe the real estate market here is fine. I realize we're in unprecedented times. I do not believe the market is going to crash. I feel it's not going to happen. I just don't believe this market is crashing. I think the market is going to be fine. It's going to stabilize. I think it's a great time to buy. Look at those interest rates. With the interest rates at, 4%, under 4% right now, you can't beat now as one of the best times to buy, really in the history, at least of our adult life. And Dallas Lehman is here from You Have Mortgage right now to get you pre-qualified. 407-205-0400. And now, without further ado, it is time for your portion of the show. It's the Real Estate Roundtable. Each week here on You Have Real Estate, we answer your questions from throughout the week. All you have to do is go to the Facebook page, You Have Real Estate. Ask me a question right there, and we just might answer it next week here on You Have Real Estate. Let's start with Edgar down in Kissimmee. I'm selling my home, and the buyer has asked for an extension. Should I grant it? JJ, we kind of covered that earlier, but...
I think it's a case-by-case scenario. You just have to talk to the lender and make a decision from there, And at worst, some people are just, if they want to cancel it, they cancel it. And you certainly can come back and put another contract on it in a short amount of time.
Lisa in Winter Park, when do you think prices will bottom out? Let's address residential and commercial on that.
I don't think prices are going to bottom out for a while. I agree with you. I think that mortgage rates are stimulating, and we're going into a stronger season, and everyone's going to go out and buy after all of this is over. What would you say?
I can only speak for the commercial side of things, and it all comes down to the cost of capital. If you look at a business like an individual, if it costs them more money to get that, in your case, 90% down on something, the bank's only willing to do 80 or 70 because they're starting to get foreclosures, then the price will have to come down, in my opinion, that extra 20 bips or 20%. And so I hate to be the guy that comes on here and tells you that this thing is rough, but I think there's going to be a great buying opportunity. I mean, a fantastic one in about 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with Saxon.
Yeah.
I was looking at some of commercial real estate stocks and a few that were owned here, and we were talking about how all the insiders are buying,
Right.
which tells you something. They believe in their own product.
Sure.
Angela in Orlando. Thanks for watching, Angela. I own a business and can't pay my commercial mortgage. What should I do?
That's a real tough question. A lot of times we have people walk from the businesses, which is really sad to see
Yeah.
because we're capitalistic economy. But what I would say is reach out to your landlord, and my landlords are going to hate me for saying this, but ask for some time, have them put it on the back end of your lease, so net they're not going to lose it. But that's really the only thing you can do is try to build up as much cash as possible and talk to your banks.
Yeah.
A bank would rather have you pay less than have to foreclose and go through the process of hiring a receiver and all that. So
Agree. And lastly, Shane in Orlando, how does social distancing affect my ability to go see houses?
We're just having to be more cautious. A lot of us are sending the virtual showings ahead of time, and then we are allowing people to see properties. I'm only allowing 2 people in at a time. And then I'm opening up the doors and turning all the lights on and sometimes the windows, and just seeing it as safely as possible. We have our masks that we're wearing when we show homes, and then I have my Lysol wipes that I wipe everything down afterwards. So just be safe.
Thank you very much. Saxon Evans, thank you, brother.
Hey,
Good to see you as
anytime.
always.
Good to be
JJ
back.
Mackle, always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Tell everyone over there I said hello.
I
Thank
will.
you both so much
They
for
love
joining
you.
me today.
Absolutely.
But most importantly, thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions about what we talked about, you want to have your house featured on this program, or you need to get pre-approved, it's all the same phone number, 407-205-0400. I'm attorney Justin Clark, and I'll see you back here next week for You Have Real Estate. Good job, guys. That was good information.